Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? So the Saints are in Indianapolis with the rest of the NFL going through their the Combine week, but in advance of the start of the league year and the need to be within cap compliance, the Saints have already begun restructuring contracts. We talked about that a bit earlier this week. They've restructured Michael Thomas and Ryan Ramczyk and Andrus Peat, and they're going to continue working as they still got some $40 million to go to be within cap compliance. But they're also looking at their own free agents. And there are some very prominent free agents with which they're going to have discussions. Chief among them is Teron Armstead. Obviously, Jameis Winston is one of those that they seem to have very high desire in bringing him back. But there are other sort of, I don't want to say marginal players, but other players where they're going to have to make decisions. And one of them they've decided, and that's tight end / receiver Juwan Johnson. And there have been multiple reports, among them Nick Underhill reported that the Saints have agreed to a deal with Juwan Johnson to keep him in New Orleans. So 1-year extension. Johnson was set to be an exclusive rights free agent. So the Saints just had to tender him an offer to make sure that he remained in New Orleans. So it wasn't even a restricted free agent type scenario where other teams could offer and the Saints could match. This was an exclusive rights free agent opportunity for New Orleans. So they re-signed Juwan Johnson. He'll be back in New Orleans for at least one more year. Quick reminder about Juwan Johnson, if you don't remember. Big-bodied wide receiver. Started his career at Penn State, transferred to Oregon, where he played his final year of college after the transfer portal was a thing. Went undrafted. The Saints signed him as an undrafted free agent, and he ended up making his debut in the 2020 season. Caught 4 passes in 7 games, and then in 2021 had a little bit of a larger role as the Saints were so decimated by injury. Obviously, no Michael Thomas. They let Emmanuel Sanders walk, so they were looking for pass catchers, and he ended up playing in 14 games in year 2 in the league. Caught 13 balls for 159 yards and 4 touchdowns. Juwan Johnson is probably best known, if not just for football, he's best known because he and his wife have a viral TikTok account. They have a joint account together, and if you remember, in the 2020 season, they went viral for a video where he surprised her, telling her that he was going to play that Sunday for the first time in an NFL game. And her reaction was awesome. Juwan actually came on the show after that. It was a lot of fun. You could tell. Great dude, young guy trying to make it. Interestingly enough, he's entering year 3 in the NFL, same age as Joe Burrow at 25 years old. So Juwan Johnson is going to be back with New Orleans as they have re-signed him. But what's interesting, and I love the decision, by the way. I love the decision. He is first of all, it's super affordable. And we haven't seen terms posted just yet, but on a 1-year exclusive right free agents deal, you're going to be talking about around $1 million. His number last year was in the $700K range. So affordable, a guy that in a reserve role was productive for you in a year where you needed productivity. And I like also what it says about Juwan Johnson, that as a guy who played receiver his whole life, was willing to try tight end out of necessity. New Orleans had been looking for that pass-catching tight end, and Juwan Johnson is 6'4", 231 pounds. He's not your prototypical tight end, the 250, 260. He's not Kittle. He's not Kelsey. But what he could be is Jared Cook. Now, let's hope it's Jared Cook without the drops, without the inconsistency. And I don't know that he'll be that productive of a player throughout his career. He's still learning the position. But as a pass-catching tight end, he's a good option at a position where the Saints need them. Adam Troutman was expected to take the big step forward this year, and it just didn't happen. I mean, they let Jared Cook walk, obviously. his inconsistency was a problem, and his drop in the playoffs against Tampa Bay was likely the final nail in the coffin for his time in New Orleans if it wasn't already decided. But that also, as 2 years ago, Troutman had taken such a larger role as the season went along in the offense, and we were hoping that we were going to see Troutman take that big step this year, and it just didn't happen. He ended up with 23 catches for just 263 yards and a couple of scores, marred by drops. His Pro Football Focus grades as a blocker actually improved this year, which it's one metric, take it for what it's worth. But as a pass-catching option, we didn't really see Troutman develop, so you're still looking for options there. Now, I think the Saints should go make a play for Kyle Rudolph. We talked about that on the show on Wednesday. That would be a veteran presence, guy who you don't need a ton of production. I kind of compared it to Benjamin Watson when he came back to New Orleans and played that 2018 season, and you had Watson and Hill kind of in tandem. I think that would be a great option. But having Juwan Johnson back is another young guy that you can mold and think of it this way. I am going to, until we see otherwise, I'm going to assume offensively that it's going to still look a lot like, with Pete Carmichael, a lot like it did with Sean Payton. I mean, they really are one and the same. I mean, Carmichael is Sean Payton's, is the Robin to Sean Payton's Batman. He's been riding sidecar for 15 years. I mean, they have worked together, they've scouted together, they've consulted together, they've game planned together. I'm going to assume that it looks very similar. And in Sean Payton's offense, it's not always about wide receiver or running back. It's about pass catchers. Who is going to catch passes at different levels of the defense? Do you have the guy that's your guy in the screen game, the intermediate route, the blow the top off the defense guy? So, I mean, I think of Alvin Kamara, and I don't think of a running back with respect to the receiving game. I think of a pass catcher. I mean, he was your second leading receiver last year behind Marquez Callaway. Callaway had 46 receptions. Kamara had 47 for 439 yards. Callaway had 698 receiving yards. So I think of Juwan Johnson not so much as a tight end, but as a pass catcher. Can you flex him out while you still have an attached tight end? Can he maybe take reps to give Michael Thomas a blow in that role, the big-bodied receiver that goes over the middle? You'll have Michael Thomas, you'll have Marquez Callaway, you'll have Deontay Harris. What do you do with Tre'Quan Smith? Y'all know my feelings on that. I'm not a fan at all. I would like to see him walk, but we'll see what happens there. Kamara's going to miss 6 games, but you assume he'll be back at some point. What role does Troutman play? Does Nick Vanette return, and is he a factor in this offense? Ethan Wolf, same thing. You got Garrett Griffin as well. Is that a guy that could potentially play some type of role in this offense? And you throw Juwan Johnson as just another option. It's another big-bodied pass-catching option. Whether you label him a tight end or a receiver, the hope is one of these guys continues to emerge in the pass-catch game. I mean, I don't want to set too lofty an expectation, but the way Jimmy Graham did. I mean, Jimmy Graham had played 2 years of football. And as he got into the flow of things, he learned how to use his body to create mismatches within this offense. Maybe that's Adam Troutman. Maybe that's Juwan Johnson. Maybe it's someone they draft this year. I don't know. But for an affordable option like Juwan Johnson, who's been a great team guy, who clearly likes being in New Orleans, who's been willing to sacrifice and switch positions, I like having that guy in the locker room as an option for a pass catcher, especially at that price. So Juwan Johnson will be back in New Orleans for at least another year. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.